All right, good Saturday morning, Houston. Ready to roll. We have a great show for you this morning. We'll get to the latest on the world of golf with Charlie, do some teaching with Charlie. We also have a couple of exclusive interviews for you. We talked to Stephen Fisk, who won the Sanderson Farms Championship last week. Charlie shot 64 on Sunday, closing with a 31 at Country Club of Jackson. He was 164th on the FedEx Cup standings going into last week. Steven was thinking about signing up for Q School this winter, and then he went to Jackson and won, giving himself a 2-year exemption and entry into all the signature events in 2026. So totally life-changing win. We did a 15-minute recap with Steven, which we'll run here in a bit. Then at 8:40, influencer Kaylin Henderson will join the show to give us a preview of the Gridiron Legends Golf Tournament, which supports the Pelchin Children's Center. So we'll find out how you can get involved, maybe go play some golf there with the greats like Robert Griffin III, Chris Massey, Ralph Cooper. Jim Fairbairn is with us for the hour. He is the chairman of the Kinder's Texas Bowl. Jim, great to be with you. Charlie, great to be with you this morning.
Well, it's always a pleasure, Mr. Doctor. But some weeks are better than others, and that's quite an accomplishment with that young man winning that tournament. But does that get him into the Masters?
It does not, Charlie.
Isn't that a shame? They've changed that. Usually every PGA Tour winner was exempt for the Masters with the victory, but they've taken that away because there's so many people that qualify for it anyway, so it's getting, they only want 90 players.
Yeah.
And so this is one way to cut the field.
I'll tell you a good story this week, and we're going to get to Jim Fairbairn and the Texas Bowl here in a second, but our friend Johnny Kiefer, who has been playing on the Korn Ferry Tour all year, he's top 25 every event, has 2 wins. I believe if he is 51 in the official world golf rankings.
Wow.
He is playing in the Korn Ferry Tour Championship. I believe a top 5 will put him inside the top 50 at the end of the year, and he's going to be playing Augusta in April.
How about that? But see, what that does is, who's that forcing out of the top 50?
Stephen Fisk.
Yeah, all the guys, they're there, but then these new kids come along, and you get 10 new guys. Some veterans go by the wayside.
Yeah, Charlie, what do you think about this fall series? Obviously, we have a great tournament in the Bay Current going on right now in Japan. They're at Yoshihama. Great players like Max Graysterman, Xander Schauffele at the top of the leaderboard. But Sanderson Farms, they were in their last contract year last year, and Sanderson used to be an alternate event. Then they put it on the regular field schedule, but you still don't get an exemption into Augusta. Where do you think the new PGA Tour CEO, Brian Rolop, goes with the fall series?
I'm not sure how to read him.
Yeah.
He really he's not a golfer, so I don't know where he's going to be coming from when he makes up the tour schedule. It's proven that golf is a year-long event, and you can go to Australia and the Far East and run tournaments, and so we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, DP World Tour, they're coming down the end of the stretch of their season. They're in Madrid. There's a lot of guys on the PGA Tour that go play the DP in the fall. One thing on Brian Rolop, he is, and your friend Adam Schupak reported this yesterday, PGA Tour champions. Obviously, your student Angel Cabrera is up in North Carolina right now competing. PGA Tour champions pension pool is going to be cut by 20%, Charlie. That was made official yesterday. Your thoughts there?
Really? How can they do that?
Well, the PGA Tour champions player pension has been reduced by 20% from $10 million to $8 million. Some players believe the cut is a result of the PGA Tour prioritizing for its new for-profit entity and payment for its top players. The reduction is a part of a broader cost-cutting effort by the PGA Tour, which recently hired a new CEO.
One word I'm not hearing enough with this new tour is charity.
100%.
They always prided themselves that it's all about charity. You know, $3 billion they've raised over the history of the PGA, and now everybody's they're making they're winning $10 million a week in first prize. So the money's not going to charity; it's just going into the player's pocket, which is good, but that's not what the PGA Tour is all about.
Well said, Charlie. And we have Jim Fairbairn with us for the hour, the chairman of the Kinder's Texas Bowl. How about this, Charlie? 2.7 million raised for the DePelchin Children's Center since 2006. You want to talk about putting charity first? That's Jim Fairbairn with
That's
us.
it. That's really what sports all about, and that's why the people will pay the big tickets to go see these guys play football or golf or basketball. And but the community is who's winning at the end of the day.
Let's get Jim's mic on here for 1 second. Jim, I want to ask you, how does golf and this tournament, the Golf Iron Legends golf tournament, how does golf and football, how does that all go hand in hand for the Texas Bowl?
Well, that's that's really a good question because what we do is each year we name four, five, six new legends of Texas, gridiron legends. This year we got five new ones, and we tie that in with the Legends Tournament, which is our number one fundraiser for the DePelchin Children's Home. And what they do is the legends come out, join us at the golf course. This year's at Brayburn Country Club, and it's a great day. It's an awesome day with you got legends from all over Texas, and they play with each team, and it raises a lot of money and it has a lot of fun with our sponsors.
Well, once again, Dan Pastorini, former Houston Oiler, all the old guys that really didn't make the big bucks are always helping you guys out in raising money for their needy, even for his charity. Dan's got his own charity, so I think it's incredible.
Absolutely. Dan has his own tournament, yet he still comes out and helps us,
Yes,
and it's a great thing to see.
yeah, very good.
Well done, Jim. As far as the Texas Bowl's partnership with the Pelchin Children's Center, I mean, Houston's oldest children's charity, largest provider of foster and adoptive services, and obviously the official charity partner of the Texas Bowl. You got a lot to be proud of, Jim. Well done.
Thank you very much.
That's it. No, it's first class. I've seen it work, and all these hard working. Although this is kind of weird. He's an LSU guy,
How about that?
huh?
Uh-oh, here
Living
we
in
go.
Houston, Texas. But we appreciate the Tigers loaning you to run this tournament and raise the money for really a great cause.
And you're going to play with Brandon LaFell, aren't you?
Yeah, so we've got some really great guys. Brendan LaFell, Lamar High School here in Houston,
Yeah.
Super Bowl champ with Tom Brady. Of course, we got Vince Young, Selvin Young, RG3's coming out this year. He'll be one of the new nominees. So it's really first class role here we got.
And the tournament, football game is played during the holiday season, right?
Yeah, it's a ESPN tournament. I mean, football game. SEC versus Big 12. It's December 27th this year. Last year it was on New Year's Eve, and so we're really excited about that.
We're going to get to more on the Texas Bowl with Jim and Kalen Henderson a little bit later on. Kalen's going to be at the golf tournament, the Gridiron Legends golf tournament. We're going to get a preview, do an interview with Kalen a little bit later on. Charlie, looking through the world of golf right now, Max Graysterman and Xander Schauffele are in a tie for first heading into Sunday in Japan at the Bay Current. You can watch that overnight on Golf Channel. Excellent tournament going on the DP World Tour right now. How about Houston native Patrick Reed leading the way at the Open Day Madrid? 2 under through 8, 9 under for the tournament, and a three-way tie with two-way tie now with Joel Garbach. Great action going on there at Club de Campo there at Villa de Madrid. Charlie, have you been there?
Yes, it's a good golf course.
Yeah,
Spain has wrapped its arms around golf,
unbelievable.
and
Yeah.
it's a big tennis country, but golf became very important. I went there in 1973, and it was starting to really build more courses and get the tourists to come to Spain to see all the relics, and but also the good food. If you like uncooked ham, aged ham, it's delicious.
Is that where you met Sergio Garcia's father?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Wow.
So it's quite a country, and golf's part of their heritage now. The great Severiano Ballesteros brought attention to that country in a big way when he won the Masters, and he became the personality of the European Tour, and he really influenced the Ryder Cup, which we just saw. That the Europeans beat us again, and it's because they really want it more than the Americans.
We're going to hear from our guest, Caitlin Henderson, a little bit later on. She was at the Ryder Cup. She got a firsthand experience of it. And Charlie, Colin Morikawa, it's interesting. Before the Ryder Cup, Colin Morikawa said in a press conference, I want to see chaos. I want to see excited fans. But not in a way telling them to go crazy. He just said he wanted an exciting atmosphere. Well, we saw what happened at the Ryder Cup. Erica McElroy getting a beer thrown on her. People telling Shane Lowry he needs to get on Ozempic. Some very nasty stuff. Very nasty words going
well,
around.
that's New York.
That's what it's the New York sports fans, isn't it, Charlie?
That's why they had it there. I'll never know.
Yeah. You think it's a little overrun? The fans, you have to expect
Yes.
it.
I mean, the most coveted tournament on the PGA Tour is the Masters, and I mean, you're not going to get out of line at
No.
the Masters. They'll take you out in a second, and see what happened at the Ryder Cup in New York was embarrassing for our country.
No, there's no doubt. One last thing before we go to break. You hear the modern European player, John Rahm, Angel Iora, Rory, Tommy, they still talk about Seve. When they're asked who inspires them, it's Seve. You don't hear that from the American player. They don't talk about Jack, Arnold. Barely heard Tiger's name.
They talk about Arnold. They talk about Jack. I
Well,
think.
Tiger and the legends,
And-
Ernie, they
yeah,
do. I'm
yeah.
just, the younger player. I feel they need to remember that history a little bit more.
Well, sure. We got to promote it more on this radio show. But the history of Severiano Ballesteros became a national hero with his success in golf, and so he was a pain in the butt, but he was good.
All right, Charlie, before we go to break, we have business owners who feel like the walls are closing in. The obstacles to growing their business they're overwhelming, Charlie. We have some business owners, their backs are up against the wall as far as HR and payroll is concerned. You've got help for them.
Insperity.com. You just call them. They're a great human resource company that since 1986, now listen to this, Jim, they've grown from $0 to $7 billion. That's a pretty good piece of cheese, 7 billion. But if you want to grow your business and your small businesses need more help, give Insperity a call. They have trained professionals that can come in, analyze what your business is doing, give you a success, a business plan to increase it, and all of a sudden you're going to be having $7 billion. No, not really.
No, they put 30 plus years of experience to work helping you with your human resources, from hiring and training to HR, admin, and compliance. Add in competitive benefit options for your employees, and suddenly you've expanded your HR capabilities. With Insperity lightening your HR load, you can focus on growing your business surrounded by employees who are empowered to be their best. Visit Insperity.com for better HR performance. Back after this.
You're listening to the Charlie Epps Golf Hour on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Powered by Insperity.
From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Will Doctor and the golf doctor himself, Charlie Epps.
Unbelievable weekend of golf that unfolded in Jackson. Stephen Fisk went into the golf tournament 164th on the money list. Now, only the top 100 get full status back into the signature events going into 2026. So at 164, his job was not secure for 2026. He was telling his wife, hey, I might have to sign up for Q School this winter. If I lose my PGA Tour card, I'm not going to have a place to play. Fisk went to Jackson and won, giving himself a 2-year exemption and entry into all the signature events in 2026. We caught up with him yesterday. Here's the interview with Stephen Fisk.
We're here on ESPN Radio with PGA Tour winner Stephen Fisk. Stephen, thanks for taking the time. Congratulations on the win last week in Jackson. How are you this morning?
Doing great. Just kind of hanging out at home and enjoying the win.
I want to start with a quote you gave me in April of 2024 when you got your PGA Tour card. You said, it's not something that I feel like I've been ready for in the past. I actually spoke to my wife and family towards the end of last season, saying if I were to have a great finish in 2023, maybe getting on the PGA Tour is not something I was ready for. And now I feel like it's something that I'm ready to do. A year and a half later, you're now a PGA Tour winner. If there was any bit of uncertainty left, is it gone?
Yeah, certainly. I think at the time when I gave you that quote and when I talked to them towards the end of the 23 season, it was kind of a feeling I had that I wasn't done maturing in my career and kind of how I go about my business, and just kind of that gut feeling that I knew that there was more work to be done so that when I did get to the PGA Tour, I'd be ready.
And that maturing over the last year, how pleased were you with that?
Yeah, definitely. I got married at the beginning of 24. So that was a personal milestone that, comes with another level of maturity. And then, I on the golf course, I had not only did I win in Savannah, but I had some other opportunities to win that I feel like can kind of build up your character as a player and increase your confidence.
That back nine on Sunday last week in Jackson, so impressive, going out in 31 to close out a final round 64. At what point, if at all, did you feel like, you know what, this is mine and I'm going to go take it?
I kind of felt like that going into the day on Sunday. I know Garrick had a 2-shot lead and he'd been playing great. And honestly, he played really, really well on Sunday too. I just went in with a mindset that, it didn't matter what shots I hit on Sunday, I was going to find a way to get the ball in the hole and lift that trophy.
The ball striking for you seems like it's been in a great spot all season to some degree. The putting, I want to get your take on that. It appeared to be maybe the one thing holding you back. What changed on the greens there at the Sanderson?
Yeah, just a little bit of a mindset change. I actually used a different putter on Thursday. I tried like a counterbalance jailbird, and I'd been working on it at home for a week and a half probably before we went to Jackson, and I was fully committed to giving it a fair try. And then I went out Thursday and did not putt very well, so I went back to old trusty that after putting it in timeout, it seemed to come back to life a bit.
In your putting, is that really it? Is there something you've been working on this season at all?
Yeah, I putted really well for pretty much the whole season last season. And somewhere in that break from the Corn Ferry finishing early October and then not playing a lot of competitive golf until January, something just kind of got off and slipped up a little bit. Truthfully, I haven't had a good year on the greens, and it's bothered me endlessly trying to figure it out and trying different putters or different feelings to try and find something familiar from my past that kind of clicks. And ultimately, last week in Jackson, um, I just had a mindset kind of switch, and I'd gotten so focused on my stroke and my setup and, trying to make everything almost too perfect. And all I did in Jackson, I was just target focused. I was just I was aiming where I needed to aim, looking at the hole, exactly where I wanted the ball to enter the hole and hitting the putt. Um, I like to say that I actually put a little sight dot on my ball that I kind of fixate on with my eyes, and I've noticed over this season that I would watch the putter go back and try and be really perfect with that backstroke. And last week, especially over the weekend, I don't think I watched that backstroke one time. I was only worried about where that ball needed to go.
When you look at your rookie season on the PGA Tour, and maybe the difference in grass is the same on Corn Ferry Tour, but when you go from California, the POA in California, to the heavy Bermuda in Florida and Texas, and then maybe a little bit more bent in the summertime, how tough is it to adjust to that during the year?
Yeah, it's definitely something we're used to, traveling all over, but it's not it's not preferred, I guess, if you wanted to look at it that way. It's definitely something that, you know, sometimes you're on some grainier stuff, sometimes you've got some of that poana and the ball can kind of do whatever it wants. But it's definitely a bit of a learning process to try and, figure out the greens each week and get comfortable.
You said after the win that your dad and maybe even the late and powerful Grayson Murray, they might have nudged a couple putts in there on Sunday, and that they'd be proud of the way you carried yourself. And I lost my own dad a few years ago, so that line, Stephen, really struck with me. When you think about that connection, feeling him out there with you, how does that shape the way you play and carry yourself now?
Yeah, I there were really just a couple of moments that, my mind wandered and started thinking about my dad. And um, I think it was walking off the 10th tee box and then again on the 18th green before I hit that birdie putt. And truthfully, he would rather have it to where I'm not thinking about him at all. He'd rather me be out there focused and um, trying to go about my work. But it's certainly it could be a very heavy feeling, it could be very emotional. Um, Nobody did more for me as a kid, as an adult, throughout my entire career to get me to this point. And I wish he'd be here to kind of, share this moment together. But as I said uh, in another interview or two, I think he felt like this day would happen. I think he really believed that his boy would be a PGA Tour winner one day.
That's incredible, Stephen. Did it push aside what was maybe going on, or were you feeling, man, I'm going into the back nine on Sunday, an opportunity to win my first PGA Tour event? What would it be like if Dad was here? Was that kind of the feeling?
Yeah, it was definitely the feeling of, okay, like, we're starting the back nine here and I've got a legitimate opportunity to win today. As far as my dad, I think, I lost him in late April, and the next couple months were tough. There was a ton of travel. I went right back on the road because I didn't know what else to do with myself, and he would have wanted me to keep playing as much as I could. But at the same time, I they say time heals all wounds, and I think after the Wyndham, we had a little over a month off, and I think I kind of started to feel like myself a bit again, to the point that it wasn't, it's not sad to think about him. It's more happy. You think about all the good stuff, and you just miss him a little bit. But I know he'd be real proud of me, and he'd he loved the journey. So this was pretty cool.
Sound like an unbelievable golf guy.
Yeah, he was a nut, man. I mean, him and his buddies were always talking about me and following along. And um, you know, we did a lot of it together. And he as I got older, not that he wasn't involved in any way, but he backed off a little bit, once I got out on tour, and let me go learn it on my own and mature on my own a bit, and support me in any way that he could, while still allowing me that space to go be my own man and mature.
Thank you for sharing that, Stephen. I really appreciate your insight on that, and the way you view it, because I'm always looking for help on the way I should look at it as well. But moving on, what's the most important lesson you learned in your first year on tour, and maybe one that you would share with future generations?
I think the I think the biggest learning experience would just be the quality of player on the PGA Tour is so, so high. And there were weeks where, maybe I didn't have my best stuff and missed the cut by one or two kind of early or midway through the season. And, I'd think back like, man, if I played like that on the Corn Ferry Tour, I feel like I'd be, inside the cut line for sure and have an opportunity to move up on the weekend. But the guys out on tour are so good, and the fields are just so deep. And I think that was, I don't want to say difficult to come to terms with, but almost motivating. Like, hey, like you can't show up any week on the PGA Tour not ready to go. And I think that's very important, to show up fresh and show up mentally ready, physically ready to go compete.
Has your practice routine changed at all from your Corn Ferry Tour days, your college days to now?
Yeah, I wasn't in a lot of the pro-ams throughout this season, so that meant I couldn't really get on the golf course on Wednesdays. So that would change the way Mondays and Tuesdays looked a good bit. Um, as far as practice at home, to be quite honest, I probably practice less at home than most people would think. The tour life's a bit of a grind, and I don't have the most energy than out there. So I'll come home, and if I've got 2 weeks off, I might take 5 days, just kind of chill for a little bit, spend some time at home with my wife, or, you know, do something other than golf. And just kind of that way, when I go back into it, I'm ready, I'm fresh, I'm ready to put in some quality work that, can keep building my game up to a point that can contend.
We talked a lot last year about your work with the great Justin Parsons. Was there looking from that time about a year and a half ago to now, and that transition to the PGA Tour, is there any one thing or a lesson that y'all have had, a session that really sticks out to you where, I don't want to say changed your game, but was very beneficial for this season for you on the PGA Tour?
Yeah, I think JP and I's goal with my golf swing was to always get it to a point where I could maintain it pretty much on my own. And we've gotten to a point that he's there if I need him, if we need to work on something, if something's off and I can't quite figure it out. But I was always self-taught, and he really kind of led me in the right direction, and brought me along through that process of some swing changes and some setup changes that I needed to make, based off of some past injuries, and longevity of my career from getting hurt again. And he's been there anytime I've needed him to kind of give me a nudge back on the tracks. But it's been a great relationship, and I hope this is only the beginning of some more great golf.
The injury that you sustained, I don't want to talk about injuries, but was that the wrist or hand injury that you had about 2 years ago?
Yeah, so it was a little longer ago than that.
Okay,
It
okay.
actually was my last semester in college. I had some tendon pain from what's called the carpal boss in the back of my left hand, just above the wrist. And there was almost like a bone growth there on the back of my hand that the tendons would roll and pop over and constantly be inflamed. Um, and I played hurt to finish my college career. played hurt through the summer to try and make the Walker Cup team, and then tried to go to Q school, hurt, didn't work out, ended up having to do surgery towards the beginning of 2020, um, and came back from surgery, didn't make any swing changes, and got a little bit of a fracture in one of those one of those bones in the back of the hand. And I went and saw JP for the first time, and he told me, he was like, "Hey, guys that look like this at impact don't play for very long. Especially you've already been injured. You're young. You're only 22, 23 years old. I don't like looking at this. This is bad news if you want a long career." So, I committed to making some changes after a little bit of stubbornness, thinking I could do it my own way. But I went back, and, we've been working on it ever since to try and make it as good as it can be.
And it's been pain free since.
Yeah, funny enough, it's a genetic thing that I got from my dad. So he had them really bad, but he didn't play as much golf. So if you work with your hands, it can definitely flare up. And I've got one on my right hand too, but I maintain that one pretty well, to the point that it's not a big deal. Just kind of put some maintenance on it, a little heat, little ice here and there, and we're fine.
That's Stephen Fisk. Stephen, thanks for the time today. Will we see you in Utah in a few weeks?
I'll be there.
Good deal.
The other side, we'll be back after this break on ESPN 97.5 Houston.
Mike Booker, chairman of the Texas Golf Hall of Fame and holder of a record number of Texas Golf Association championships.
The Texas Golf Hall of Fame is the foundation of golf in our great state. So many great individuals, Ben Hogan, Byron Nelson, Kathy Whitworth, Ben Crenshaw, and many others, lead the way in making golf in Texas known around the world. Now you can experience the history of Texas golf digitally at texasgolfhof.org and share with your family and friends. See you on the course.
The Charlie Epps Golf Hour, powered by Insperity, continues
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Will Doctor and Charlie Epps.
All right, our next guest is Kaylin Henderson, who is a rising golf personality from starting golf at 3 years old to becoming an NCAA All-American, now a business owner, a content creator with over 800,000 followers. She's using her platform to spread joy, faith, and purpose as far as the world of golf is concerned and beyond. She's the co-founder of For the Girls, part owner of Golf Girl Games, ambassador for Adidas and Callaway, and the heart behind Inspiring Worship Wednesdays. And she is proving every day that golf does not define her, and God does. Kaylin, welcome to the show. How are you this morning?
Hello. Thank you for having me. Thank you for that lovely introduction. I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now, I heard that you just came back from the Ryder Cup. What was that experience like around all those crazy New York sports fans?
If I could describe it in one word, it would be rowdy, because it was my first Ryder Cup that I've ever experienced. So I was excited to go there for the atmosphere and the ambiance, but it was I'm a big golf nerd, and so I love watching the golf. It was hard to watch golf in person because when the person is teeing off on hole number 1, you had to go to hole number 15 to even see the golf. So it was really cool to experience, but I would say as a golf nerd, I'd probably watch it on TV because you could just see more golf.
Now, you've done major collaborations with tournaments like the Evian Championship, LPGA majors, been to obviously a ton of other big-time golf tournaments. How did the Ryder Cup compare from the aspect of the fans?
It was the most rowdy and lively tournament I've ever been to, where people are, you guys can obviously see the headlines. People were getting brutal out there. Like, it wasn't just they were cheering on Team USA. They were getting a little brutal with their words, and if that simmered down, it would have been so amazing. But just like the liveliness there and seeing the fans just get so into it, it was really cool to experience.
And you started playing golf at just 3 years old. What first drew you to the game?
So my dad, he would always go out with my brother, and I was 3 years old at the time, and I was a little jealous. Like, I wanted to go out there with my dad and play golf. So my dad or my mom bought me this cute little pink golf outfit, put me on the driveway, and as soon as my dad came home, I said, "Daddy, will you please take me golfing?" It's been our thing ever since. We made it fun where it's like we're playing for a Snickers bar or something like that. And golf is such an individual, independent sport where you just rely on yourself. And I think that's what drew me to the game the most, because I am just a very independent person.
Charlie Epps.
Greatest golf coach of all time. Talking to Charlie Epps.
You have quite a resume for a young lady, and I salute you for all what you've done in golf, and not only competing in golf, but also using it as a marketing tool. What got you really involved in golf at this level?
I would say just from growing up playing. I mean, I played since I was 3 years old. I played in high school. I played in college. I played a bit professionally. And golf definitely started to consume me and become my identity the more, like, the higher up that I got with golf. And so that's kind of how the social media outlet started, was just because I want to make golf fun. Because at the end of the day, golf should be a fun sport. And so that's what led me to the social media part. But, I mean, I am just a golf junkie, and I love all things golf. Like, you and I would talk about the golf swing with you for hours. Like, I love that stuff. So I really think it's just my passion for the game.
Well, now you're coming to Houston to help raise money for some kids, and the tournament director is here in studio with us, Jim Farbarn, and now how many do you do these a lot, or this type of an event where you go and spend the day with the people and promote the game of golf?
Oh, this is one of my favorite things to do, because golf is given me so many opportunities, and I love golf so much. But more importantly, I love helping other people. And golf has given me the platform to do just that. And so I'm just excited to be part of this event and give back to everybody, because at the end of the day, like, that's truly what matters with life.
Once again, Kaylin Henderson joins us live on ESPN 97.5 Houston. Kaylin, you had an incredible college career, University of Indianapolis, All-American, multiple wins. record-setting scoring, and then you finished school, and you moved on to Q school, and you opened up about the mental toll that golf can take. How did you lean on faith to help shift your perspective?
Oh, faith was everything to me in that process because, I mean, I don't know if you know, but I went to college for 3 years and I actually dropped out of school. And as soon as I dropped out of school, I turned pro right away, went to Q school, and I failed at it. And I remember after Q school, I felt like the biggest failure ever. And I'm really someone who I'm very positive, happy. I couldn't snap out of this one. I was at an all-time low in my life. And I'll never forget, I prayed to God because I was so low, felt like a failure. I just dropped out of school. It changed my whole life around. And I heard God's voice for the first time. And he said, golf does not define you. I do. And the I do was like a booming I do. And it was from that point forward that I decided to immerse myself in a ton of other things, getting my real estate license, becoming a youth minister of a couple of teenage girl Bible studies, social media, all these different things. I started my own company for the girls because golf was starting to become my identity. I knew that was not correct. And so that right there was a complete defining moment of my life. And I'm telling you, I have no idea where I would be without God.
That's wow! What an inspiration, Caitlin. What a conversation. I mean, I would love to have that conversation with God on the golf course. Charlie, has God talked to you on the course?
You know, he ignores me.
Hey, me too a lot.
Yeah. No, not really. My two daughters, Caitlin, were college golfers, and they've gone on to. One daughter's raising 4 kids, and my other daughter is very active in her church, and she can't play too much because of a back problem. But we're a golfing family, and we've really had a wonderful time around the game of golf. And if you pay attention to the good Lord, your mindset is a lot different than if you worry about a 3-foot putt.
Exactly.
How good does Scotty do
Amen
that?
to that.
Yeah, but it's just so true. We get wrapped up in all these things that really have no future, and the good Lord's been around a long time, and he'll lead you right down to where you should be. But this coming into Houston, and you're going to be around a lot of strange people. You've got a wonderful golf swing, very athletic. You're strong. You hit the ball far. Do you have any hope of returning to competition with your talent?
I do, actually. So I did turn pro a few years back. I miss playing competitive golf so much because, like I said, I am a golf junkie. So I'm actually in the process of getting my AM status back because in the amateur events, you can plan a lot more, and there's a lot more locally. So I'm actually getting my AM status back just so I can start competing more because I'm obsessed with golf, and I miss that competitive aspect of the game.
All right, Caitlin, let's get back to charity. You're coming to Houston for the Gridiron Legends Golf Tournament, which supports the DePelchin Children's Center. How does giving back through golf connect to your mission to be the light?
Yeah, so golf, I mean, it's given me an insane amount of opportunities, and I love golf so much. But, be the light is my motto with everything. Be the light just means spreading positivity, helping other people, making people smile. So golf has given me this platform to use that, and I'm excited to give back to this event and the charity and the foundation. And, that's what truly matters in life is giving back, making people smile, and just being positive in this negative world that we live in.
Now, you also have multiple companies, within the world of golf and content creation. You might have to guide me through some of this a little bit. Let's start with For the Girls. You co-founded it. What's the mission behind that?
So the mission behind For the Girls is the same mission that I have individually. It's be the light, spread positivity on and off the golf course. I just feel like that drives every decision that I make and every decision that our company makes. And that, to me, is the most important thing in life, is just to be a positive person and be a positive role model for these young girls.
And you also have founded the YouTube account Golf Girl Games. You're good friends with Paige Spiranak, obviously another major influencer in the world of golf. How do you balance entertainment and maybe the collaborations, all with growing the game and sticking to your mission?
I think the most important thing when growing the game is just being genuine and authentic to who you truly are. And I just think sticking to your ground with that, because, I mean, there's so many other people out there that can try and be like someone else, but it's like, go be you. And I think the most important thing with golf and entertainment is people can see that drive and that passion that you have about golf. And so for me, it's being genuine to who I am as a person, spreading God's light, and just loving the game of golf.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Well done, Kaylin. Let's get to some rapid fire. We also have Jim Fairbairn here, who is the he is the chairman of the Texas Bowl, obviously in charge of the Gridiron Legends tournament. Jim, any questions for Kaylin? Do you have anything for her?
No, just make sure you get your flight on time.
I will, I promise, Jim. I'll be there. Excited to see you.
Once again, Kaylin Henderson joins us on ESPN 97.5 Houston. Before we let you go, we've got 4 rapid-fire questions for you, Kaylin. Number 1, favorite golf course you've ever played. Let's hear it.
Old Head in Ireland.
Old Head in Ireland. Charlie, you been?
Oh, yeah.
It's the best with the cliffs. It's my favorite.
You can walk off into the ocean,
wow,
and you're not coming back. It's a scary golf course.
You will not be coming back.
Unbelievable. All right, dream foursome. Who would you play with?
I would say my dad, Tiger Woods, and Scotty Scheffler. I'm a golf junkie, and I just want to dissect someone's swing. So Tiger and Scotty for those.
That's a good choice, huh, Charlie? Who's in yours?
Huh?
Who's in yours all time? Dream foursome, Charlie.
Well, I played with Nicholas Palmer and Player.
That's all there is to it. That's all.
I played with Jim over here. He's my partner in our tournament at our club.
All right, Kaylin, your lowest tournament round was 64. That's low. Where was it?
So that was I did it twice in a tournament. It was at Battleground. It's in Indiana, and then Smock Golf Course. Oh, actually, that was 3 times, and GCI in Indiana. So they've all been in Indiana, the Midwest.
What about one thing people don't know about you that you like to leave them with?
Okay, well, this is the first thing that pops in my head. This one could get a little weird. So this actually could get kind of weird. We had to put my dog down, okay? And that night I came home, and I remember we were going to go bury him the next day, and I took my dog, and I slept with him in my bed one last night. Is that weird?
No, that's your love of your pets.
I
mean, that's but that's one reason why I don't have any more dogs, because when they die, it just, it's like losing a member of the family. So
they become your best friend.
Oh my gosh,
Mine sure is. My little golden dude. Toasty. Alejandro Toasty. I think I'd have to keep her around for one more night just for good measure.
Yeah.
That's a tough story. Hey, we're sorry for your loss, Kaylin. I mean, that's horrible. But well done there. You're what's next for you before we let you go? More golf, more content, a new chapter. Are you satisfied with what you have going on right now? Anything new we need to know about?
Yeah, I feel like I'm never satisfied with what I have. Like that's just the athlete in me coming out. So I mean, I think in November I'm gone for 3.5 out of those 4 weeks. So it's just a lot of travel. Golf Grow Games filming. I think we're going to go to Hawaii to film. So it's just a lot of filming, a lot of work, and a lot of stuff for the girls.
All right, that's Caitlin Henderson. Listen, world famous golf influencer, and she's going to be in Houston supporting the Texas Bowl at the Gridiron Legends Golf Tournament. Caitlin, thanks so much for taking the time for us today.
Wait a minute, and they're going to auction her off that you can play golf with her, right?
Wow.
Right, Jim?
Yeah, so
you're going to raise some really big money.
She has graciously volunteered to lay over her trip a little while, and we're going to auction off 9 holes with her and another 18 at another course with me and you. But
that'll be fun. Yeah, come play with us.
But that's very, very nice of you, Kaylin.
Well done, Kaylin.
That's good.
Yeah, so listeners, get involved with the Gridiron Legends Golf Tournament. Find a way to get involved, and you could possibly play with Kaylin Henderson, RG3, It's going to be a big, big deal. They raise a lot of money for the Del Pelchin Children's Center. It's all for a good cause. Kaylin, thanks so much for taking the time today.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
Now, once again, that is Kaylin Henderson.
Bye-bye.
Go follow her on the social medias, YouTube. She's on all of it. Charlie, you got a lesson. We got what do we got? 60 seconds left. You got a lesson this afternoon, Charlie.
Yeah.
What are you going to be teaching?
This is my first lesson with a gentleman. So I got to have a little interview with him and find out what he can do and what he can't do, and we'll go from there.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Well done, Charlie. As far as the world of golf, what to leave you with, the Bay Current, the final round at the Bay Current, that'll be on tonight on Golf Channel. It's being played in Japan, so we get that overnight. Max Gracerman's going to be looking for PGA Tour win number 1. Obviously, Xander Schauffele is behind him. That'll be a masterclass finish. As far as the DP World Tour action, Joel Garbach and Marco Ping have a 1-shot lead over Daniel Brown. Patrick Reed still 3 under through 12, 2 shots back of the lead. We'll be rooting for Patrick this weekend here in Houston. And as far as the Korn Ferry Tour Championship, jobs on the line, Neil Shipley, Peter Quest, Stuart McDonald. Great action there, which will be on Golf Channel during the day. This is the Charlie Epps Golf Hour with Brian Sparity. We'll talk next weekend.
Mike Booker, chairman of the Texas Golf Hall of Fame and holder of a record number of Texas Golf Association championships.
The Texas Golf Hall of Fame is the foundation of golf in our great state. So many great individuals, Ben Hogan, Byron Nelson, Kathy Whitworth, Ben Crenshaw, Babe Zaharias, Tom Kite, and many more lead the way in making golf in Texas known around the world. Learn about the historic golf courses and the individuals that promoted the game through leadership, teaching, and passion. Texas and golf go hand in hand in the history of the game and camaraderie. Together we can honor the past, celebrate the present, and inspire future generations of Texas golfers. Golf is a sport for everyone, and I encourage you to experience the history of Texas golf digitally at texasgolfhof.org and share with your golf family and friends. That's texasgolfhof.org. See you on the course.